On this week's episode of the WNP podcast, it's getting hot in here. Chase, please don't take off your clothes. Stay tuned. Episode 153 of the We're Not Professionals podcast. I'm your host, Mike Mitchelson, and joining me today, as always, my co-host, Chase Crawshaw. Chase, how are you?
I'm doing swell. How are you?
I'm doing great. Feeling very lively on this episode. The last episode, I was feeling a little bit tired, but this one, feeling much better.
You ready to go?
I do have to apologize to any of the YouTube viewers. If you are watching this on YouTube, that's fantastic. Our last episode had some video file issues, was not able to get it out on YouTube, but if you didn't check it out, it is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. So make sure to check it out there if you have yet to do so. We talk about the Lions, the Bengals, the Bears, oh my, and all of the AFC and NFC North predictions. So it was a great show, and on that show was the Lions enthusiast Graham Weaver. He's also on this show. Graham, how are you?
I'm sweller.
Oh, you're sweller than Chase.
Not necessarily than Chase. I'm just sweller.
Oh, smaller than before.
Than before, yeah. Than ever before.
So I feel like every time you come in here, you have another sticker on your computer.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I
need a WNP sticker on there.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I need one as well.
Get on it, Chase. Get on it.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
All right,
Get
cool.
some stickers going. Make it look exactly like our coasters. I'm sure people have seen the coasters. I think I've showed them off before, but beautiful.
I'll just
you can see the
glue-
picture behind you as well.
True.
Yeah, but a coaster and a picture are very different, you know.
I'll super glue one of the coasters to the back of my laptop.
Yes, I like that.
One gets hung up on the wall. One
You can hang a coaster on the wall if you really want to.
protects a table from my drink, my beverage of choice, which is water today.
Well, how about that?
Water for you?
We love hydration.
In G0.
This is the first time I've had caffeine on the podcast in a
Sugar
while.
water.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, it's zero. There's no sugar in this one.
Orange.
Checkmate.
Water.
Orange water. Yeah.
All right, well, on today's episode of the Bolts, not the Bolts broadcast.
Ha.
See, this is why we're not professionals. But on today's episode,
Yeah, you called me out last week saying, you're not a professional. Maybe we are, blah, 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 just because I started reading the wrong division first. This is what you get.
On today's episode of the WNP podcast, we're going to be going over some quick, brief news around football in general. And then we are also going to do NFL hot take and debate. If you watched our most recent hot take episode, you will know that that was fantasy specific. This one is NFL specific. So when it comes to standings, you know, Super Bowl winners, comeback player of the year, that kind of stuff, that's what we are going to be making hot takes on. So let's start with the news. We'll start in college football, but it's a super easy one because Nick Saban, the legendary Alabama head coach, he gets a contract extension, 8 years, $93.6 million. Huge contract for him. But the big reason I wanted to bring this up is once this contract is over, he will be sitting at 79 years old. What are our thoughts on a coach, even though such legendary status in Nick Saban, what are our thoughts going that late into a career?
Not very many, because I think he might live forever, honestly. When I found out he was in his 70s, I was like, this is news to me.
Yeah.
Did not believe he was in his 70s. This guy might live into his hundreds. Like, he gets rejuvenated with, like, extra years in his life just from, like everybody just, like, putting their hearts and souls into their fandom of this Alabama team. Everyone, like, he walks around as a god through the state of Alabama, so everyone's just like, I'm going to take these 3 years of my life and give him to you. He's going to live till he's, like, 190 because of that. So
That makes sense.
he's only halfway through his life.
Yeah.
So he's
no
like
concern.
draining the life source. He's draining the life out of
Yes.
people
Yeah.
in Tuscaloosa.
This is my theory. So he lived a full life, and then he just got diagnosed with Benjamin Button disease. So now he's going to go in reverse. So he's got another 79. He'll have another like 70 years left here.
He's going to go back to a baby.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know if he was like a vampire.
Oh, yeah. That could be, but it's. They played in an open stadium. It's pretty sunny. I feel like he would have had some issues.
College defenses better start bringing wooden stakes with them to every game that they play against Bama.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if Joe Biden can be the president, you know, I mean, Nick Saban
can be the president.
He can roll tide, boy. Roll tide.
Love to hear it. I am very confident that he's still going to be the best coach of all time.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
As he continues
Best
to
college
play.
coach.
So, I think he's better than Bill Belichick when it comes
What
to
has Bill Belichick done without Tom Brady?
What has Nick Saban done in the NFL?
We're not talking about the NFL. We're talking about football.
True.
what has Nick Saban done without Tua? A lot,
Quite a bit.
a lot. So
Yeah, true.
He's not a one quarterback coach.
Hey, I just gotta say, same amount of time as a starter, if I'm not mistaken, for Mac Jones, for Nick Saban, and for what's his face,
Bill Belichick.
Who's had more success in that single season?
One has a championship with Mac Jones.
You know,
It really-
I don't pay attention to college
It
football.
really makes you think. It really makes you think.
Let's not talk about Shaquem Griffin as he retires. He hangs up the cleats, and he was a very cool story because coming out of college, only one hand. And his brother Shaquille Griffin still has a prominent role in the NFL, but Shaquem Griffin, the only player to ever play multiple seasons in the NFL, hell, even one season in the NFL with only one hand. So cool story, but he does hang it up.
I will happily die on the hill where if he was a two-handed athlete, he would have been a locked and loaded top 10 for first round pick in that NFL draft. Excuse me.
Where'd he go? The fourth?
He
Third
was
round?
like a fifth round pick, I want to say.
Right.
But his athletic numbers were just off the charts.
Yep.
The fact that he could, do everything that he did without a hand, of course, and he was still a pretty solid coverage guy. He was just a talented defender, a talented football player. If he had two hands, I mean, I think we'd be seeing some otherworldly things from him in the NFL.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, he made the decision to retire. It wasn't a team cutting him.
Yeah.
And the Shaquem Griffin story is really inspiring, and it's tough to see him go, but we still got his brother to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy because I remember when, going in in the NFL draft, they were talking like a story kind of about him, and so he was born with a sense of a hand kind of there, so he had a couple fingers and stuff, but it was all extremely painful. Where his mom found him when he was 3 years old, in the kitchen trying to cut off his hand with a knife, and that's when they decided to, I can't put my kid through this anymore. Decided to get the surgery to move on and go forward with his hand like that, which caused him a lot less pain, and obviously he became a star football player out of it too. So.
Crazy, man.
It is best of luck going forward with whatever he decides to do. It was definitely a cool story, but and no, you did say the only one-handed player, but he wasn't the only person missing a limb,
Right, yeah.
because I can never remember the guy's name. I always forget.
The firework man?
Yes.
JPP, Jason Pierre.
No, that's not even it. I'm thinking of the kicker back in the 70s, the 80s.
He didn't have the front part of
he had half a foot.
Yeah.
So he got to kick with a flat surface and just kicked bombs. Back when everyone was kicking 40 yards, he was kicking like 55. I can't remember the guy's name.
Justin Tucker should think about cutting the front part of his foot off, man. He could dominate. I mean,
He'd
he
be
already
hitting
does
80.
dominate. Yeah.
Jeez.
So it was Tom Dempsey. Yes,
Elite.
that's right.
Elite kicker.
Yeah, so that was awesome. But yeah, I forgot about JPP, to be honest with you.
Yep. But really cool story with Shaquem Griffin, and also the fact that he was able to play in the NFL with his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Such
cool.
an awesome story.
That's cool. That was cool to see.
Finally, last piece of news. Let's talk about the best safety in the league. Just kidding.
No, he's no Derwin James.
He has no Derwin James.
Oh, Derwin James is,
best.
top six. I'd give him top six for sure.
Top 6 and he ain't 2, 3, 4, or 5 or 6.
You had a hesitation there.
I forgot
He's
to say
either
number
1 or 6.
Yeah.
But Jesse Bates, he is back with the Bengals. Right before the Bengals took on the Rams in their group practice, he comes back and signs the franchise tag. He's back for 1 year. Still not hope when it comes to a long-term extension. That seems still very much out of the realm of possibility as of now. But to have the Bengals having back Jesse Bates to add to Dax Hill and Von Bell, pretty dangerous safety core there.
Dax Hill had a good pick.
Yeah, that's the nice thing. Dax Hill's looked really strong through this offseason, through this training camp process. So when you do have to make that transition, because it seems like it's not going to work out at this point, you can feel a lot better about it knowing you have someone with that caliber of talent. So hopefully Jesse Bates signs with the Lions next offseason and we're good to go.
He might just.
Yeah.
Well, let's not do that. Let's keep him in Cincy. Yeah.
Oh, you got a soft spot for your Detroit Lions.
Maybe.
Maybe.
You guys can have Von Bell. Jesse can stay.
I mean, Jesse Bates could go to the Steelers.
Yes.
No.
Lions or Steelers. It's only options.
He can retire.
Yeah, he could.
All right, well, let's go into our NFL hot take and debate.
Let's do that.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Are we doing 3 or 4?
3.
Okay, just making sure.
Graham and I were talking while you were on the phone out there that, it was a little bit tough to get everything down because he's got a lot of player-oriented. I've got a lot of team-oriented. I know you said you've got a lot of team-oriented as well.
Yeah, and just some generic player ones, not specific player ones.
Also, I kind of want to say this for future Graham watching the episode. I think that we should maybe think about some of these before we put them on the takes tracker because
I think you should have thought of them before you.
Some of these are super hot takes, and I don't necessarily believe in them, but whatever.
I'll include your confidence rating.
Okay, cool. And I'll also put out there why it's possible, even if I don't think it's very likely.
Right.
So let's start off. Who wants to go first? Hot take. Anyone?
I'll go.
Go ahead.
I'll go.
Let's do it.
Matthew Stafford.
Judon.
Matthew John Stafford. John Matthew Stafford will be viewed as a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers after this season. Not all time, just current. So after this season, when people do their QB rankings, Stafford will be above Aaron Rodgers. I think, Stafford's going into a second year in the Rams system, and he has much better receivers than Aaron Rodgers does around him. And I think that this year, this could even be another hot take. I'm going to add it onto it. But Stafford, I think he'll finish top 3 in MVP voting. And I see a regression from Aaron Rodgers coming on this year. He's getting up there in age. Somehow Tom Brady still seems to do it, but I think he is by himself. I think we're going to start to see Aaron Rodgers regression. So, yeah, I think that Stafford will have a very nice season upcoming.
Chase.
Confidence rating.
Confidence rating out of 10.
Yes.
I'm going to give this one an 9 out of 10.
Strong disagree, unfortunately. Like Matthew Stafford's talent, but over the course of the career, their whole career, playing a full career in the NFL, no one's had the talent level that Aaron Rodgers has had, and that talent has not dropped off yet. Back-to-back MVPs. Sure, you can say, the talent around him, it's diminishing, but let's be honest. The way he wins as the quarterback, it helps when you've got Davante Adams. That can kind of stretch you a little more and be a little more dominant across all aspects of it. But before he had Davante Adams, he won on short routes, wasn't throwing the ball more than 8-10 yards, and then 4 or 5 times a game he'd take the bigger chance and convert it on every single time. And I think it's going to be the same case. I don't think it's changing. I think it's going to happen yet again. I think he's going to have a pretty damn good season. He's not going to be in the double digits in picks. He just never does that. And Stafford, this elbow problem, it's not like it's a major concern, but it's going to throw him off a little bit. I think they're going to run the ball a little more than they did last year. I don't think it's going to be as much throwing. You want to preserve Matthew Stafford as much as you can, have him ready to go in playoffs. So I think they're going to try to balance out their team as much as possible because they're going to have an okay enough rushing core where hopefully they can, not have to throw the ball 58% of the time. If they can throw it 52, 53, that'd be better for them in the long term and going into playoffs. So I don't see that happening. It would be cool. I'd like to root for that. But I just don't see it happening.
And I want to say this, that I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is going to have a bad season. I'm just saying
you're saying that Matthew Stafford is going to
have that much better of a season that he's going to be above Aaron Rodgers.
He would have to win the MVP for that to happen because Aaron Rodgers is off back-to-back MVPs. So Rodgers would have to either regress a decent amount or Stafford would have to win MVP. So that's why I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
It's Romeo Dobbs season, baby.
Is it Dobbs or Doobs or Dobbs? I still don't. I will never know.
It's Dobbs.
I like saying all 3 whenever I say his name.
Romeo Dobbs.
Romeo Dobbs, Doobs. Yeah.
Nice.
Doobs is the one I leave out of the group.
You gotta get all the vowel sounds in there.
I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 10. I think that if it happened, would I be utterly shocked in disarray? No. But I wouldn't bet on it. That's why I'm gonna go under 50% there.
Yeah, I'll give it 2, by the way.
2.
Hot take.
Very nice. Also, I think that when you look at this Green Bay Packers team, take out their number 1 weapon. So obviously Davante Adams was their number 1 weapon for a long time, and take out whoever their number 1 is this year. when you look at his past couple of teams, I would say they're more deep at weapons than they have been in quite some time. Alan Lazard as their number one isn't great. He's been there before, but you bring in Romeo Dobbs and Christian Watson, which, yes, Christian Watson has been banged up through training camp. We haven't been able to see a lot, but he does have a lot of talent, and if he hits his potential, he could be an absolute stud. And then you have Sammy Watkins, who, again, banged up. You don't like to count on him, but you can count on him in week one because for some reason, in the first 3 weeks, Sammy Watkins is always the GOAT.
That's exactly why I drafted him in the last round of our draft.
So, he's got a decently deep core, and I think that one thing with Aaron Rodgers, the talk was always, he doesn't trust any of his other receivers. I think it's just he knew who the best wide receiver in the game was. He didn't need to spread the ball out because he knew Devontae Adams triple covered would still come down with it. So I think now that he doesn't have that safety net of Devontae Adams, he won't necessarily shy away from younger receivers, guys that haven't proved themselves quite yet. So I think that he'll still be a very solid quarterback. I don't think he's going to win MVP this year, but I think that to have the jump of Matt Stafford over Aaron Rodgers, which we did our QB rankings just a week ago at your place, actually. I think Aaron Rodgers for me was sitting at 3, and I think Stafford was at 8 or 9. So to have that big of a jump, there would be either have to be a really big downfall for Rodgers or Stafford to be the best quarterback easily in the league this year, which Joe Burrow's still around. So
for sure, it's not going to be easy. And I think, Aaron Rodgers was top 4 for all of us, and I think even Stafford was off some of people's lists. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be tough. But I live in a world where it can happen, and so do you.
I love to see it. All right, Chase, let's go with your first hot take.
All right, so my number one is there will be a brand new passing, so all yards, passing, rushing, and receiving leader in the NFL. So somebody that has never led the league in passing, rushing, or receiving.
At all 3 spots?
Yeah, all 3 spots.
Okay. Let's get a confidence rating and then maybe a speculation if you have any.
Yeah, so I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. And really, when I was kind of looking back at the list, the one that I feel least confident about is running backs because there's not very many workhorse guys in the NFL anymore. It's the Jonathan Taylors, it's the Derrick Henrys. It's really those two are the guys that you know are going to get every single carry. And those are the guys they're going to be efficient. So that one is where it's going to be tough, but maybe Najee gets a little more relied on in the run game. Maybe he's a little more efficient. I could see a guy like him potentially doing that. But where I feel more confident about it is when it comes to the passing and the receiving game. I've got a couple in mind. Patrick Mahomes has never led the league in passing yards, so he's someone that...
That's crazy.
Yes, it is. Absolutely crazy. If somebody... if he happen to find at least 3, 4 even trusted receivers, he could really do it by committee there. Where I could see a case where he could easily throw for 5,000 yards. Like last year, Tom Brady had 5,300 and led the league. I could see a world where he does that, or Patrick Mahomes can do something around there.
Yeah,
I could see Joe Burrow with the incredible receiving core that he has, and with a great running back too. You just never know what they're going to do. They could use a little more setup plays and trick you into thinking that they're gonna run the ball more and then throw it and then lead the league in passing that way. And then in turn for receiving yards, you got Jamar Chase, someone who I think's got a real good chance of doing it. Stephon Diggs for Josh Allen, I think is going to have a very strong season. There's definitely names that are out there, but or I lied. Stephon Diggs has actually won the receiver, has led the league in receiving yards. So I got to backpedal on that one. But Jamar Chase is the one that I do feel confident on. But
Josiah DeGuara.
Yeah, Josiah DeGuara, that's a potential one there. So it's, all said and done, I don't know if I said my confidence rating or not, but it's I'm gonna give it like a 6 out of 10, so anywhere 6 to 7, somewhere in that range. I want to be confident on it because I think there's a good chance that it happens. I don't think Tom Brady's gonna do it. Even look back at recent winners, it was Tom Brady, Deshaun Watson, Jameis Winston, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees, blah blah blah. All these guys Drew Brees isn't in the league anymore. Ben Roethlisberger's not in the league anymore. Jameis ain't doing it. Deshaun Watson's not doing it, obviously. And I just don't see Tom Brady doing it again. So it's just got to be someone new, at least in that aspect.
Yeah, I mean, the guys that you mentioned for those are not long shots whatsoever.
Yeah.
I think you'll see a lot of these guys that Chase mentioned getting betted on to lead in those spots. So I would probably go around the same thing as you, a 6 to 7. It just makes complete sense to me. Those guys are overdue, to be honest. I mean, not Jamar Chase. He's obviously going into his second year, but like I'm not saying that he's not poised to do it. I'm saying he's not overdue. He's only been in the league 1 year.
This might be a really hot take. I could see a world where the Vikings are just struggling and they pass the ball so heavily where Justin Jefferson and maybe Kirk Cousins he's a big jump at stuff. But like I can see like where Justin Jefferson is the like leading receiving guy too. But 100%. Like the quarterbacks, I think it's pretty much a guarantee.
Yeah.
The wide receivers, I think, is a pretty good bet based on how some of these young quarterbacks are positioned with the players that they are. The running back is where the only issue it lies, honestly.
It's the way that the league is trending. I mean, these younger guys that we haven't seen lead in these categories, they are the next thing. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is already here. You know, Joe Burrow's already here. Jamar Chase is already here. But, you know, it's time for them to be number one, you know.
Mm-hmm. And if we see a Kareem Hunt trade, which I don't think we're going to, but for every reason we do, then I would happily bet on Nick Chubb doing that because they're going to have no choice but to rely on him.
Oh, for sure. Jake Brisket.
I'm surprised you didn't say Pimp. Oh, Khalil Pimpleton.
Khalil Pimpleton, baby. What a dog. What a dog.
He may have a catch or two.
The Bronco killer is going to lead the league in return yards this year.
Mm-hmm. Absolute
if he even makes the team.
No more talking about Central Michigan, guys.
I'm gonna go 4 out of 10, just because again that running back.
That's gonna be hard.
And the one thing that I thought was a little silly, not because you meant it this way, but you talked about Najee Harris. Maybe he's leaned on a little bit more. Maybe he has a little bit more efficiency. I agree with the efficiency part, but I don't think anyone possibly could get leaned on more because when you look at
yes, that's fair. That's fair.
When you look at the snap count percentage, Alvin Kamara is the number two running back with snap count percentage. Obviously, that averages games without injury and everything. Kamara was number 2 with 75%. Najee Harris, through a full season, didn't miss a game, had 84% snap count.
I remember there was like a 6-week stretch where he was like legitimately like 98% every single
Dude, it's
week.
going to last like 3 years.
His first 9 games, 100, 95, 95, 80. Then we see a dip down to 65, but then we go back up 84, 84, 82, 87.
Yeah, it's just it's crazy. So I can see a world where he does it because he only had like 3.9 in carry last year. So
yeah,
it could be possible, but really, I mean, I would happily bet on somebody new for passing and receiving. Rushing is where I'm a 10 out of 10 in both passing and receiving yards.
Also, hey, how about Joe Mixon behind that brand new offensive line? Is that a player that could get it done? I don't know.
How about this for a hot take that I don't want on the record, but just saying the Bengals have the leading passing yard, rushing yard, and receiving yard players.
Oh man, that would be
good.
That would be a record breaking offense in the NFL.
I don't know. I feel like Mixon is too involved in the pass game and he's not like a workhorse running back.
Well, have you heard of Samaje Perine?
Yeah, I have.
He's the fourth down back, baby.
He screwed over the Bengals in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I have heard of him.
So, I mean, if Zach Taylor just gives him more room to run, for example, we saw Zach Taylor, or more so, Joe Burrow take the reins from Zach Taylor when it comes to, changing play calls and stuff. If Joe Mixon just takes the ball out of Zach Taylor's hands and puts it in his own, it'd be much better for the Bengals.
Would be.
So I'm gonna give that.
You said a 4, didn't you?
Did I say 4? Okay, well that's a good one. I like 4.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, my first hot take is that Dan Campbell's just a dumb jock. And he's fun to
come on.
I'm kidding.
Good.
I saw Graham's tweet
referencing a tweet that I made like a couple hours ago.
So annoying how the national opinion on Dan Campbell is he's a dumb jock who's fun to watch. He's a smart football mind who leads the team to never stop fighting. He is the guy.
Thank you, Mike. That's such a good take.
Wow.
I
don't know if you guys saw
10 out of 10 confidence.
I don't know if you guys saw, but I replied to a tweet last night, like after Hard Knocks. Somebody was saying that, like Dan Campbell's like, how is this clown allowed to coach in the NFL?
So insane.
And saying like, well, Joe Judge and these guys were allowed to coach the NFL, so why the hell wouldn't Dan Campbell be allowed to? He's like, well, he's on pace to have a worse coaching record. And then I responded, okay, he coached arguably the worst roster in the league for one season. Relax.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about?
He's on
here?
pace after 1 year of a rebuilding team to go 9-2.
a rebuilding team that
40
Jared Goff
and
throwing the ball
3.
to Josh Reynolds as your number 2 receiver with no TJ Hawkinson, with DeAndre Swift being hurt, with Alex Anzalone as your best defensive player. Let's pump the brakes here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Do I want to go with my hottest, or should
Yes.
we leave that for last?
Well, if you're save the hottest for last. If you feel like none of us are going to take it, then save it for last.
Do you want to sound dumber through the episode, or do you want to get smarter as it goes on?
I'll save the hottest one for last.
Okay, so we're gonna get dumber.
Yeah. I'll go the most cool take, and it's one that I've stated before, actually back in the AFC NFC West preview, and that is that the AFC West will make NFL history.
All 4 teams are going to make the
as
playoffs.
all 4
Yep, knew it.
teams will qualify for playoffs.
Guess who won't make that take here today? Me.
Well, I'm gonna give that 9 out of 10.
Oh, goodness.
It was on my list.
I am so confident in all 4 of these teams. I think that the Raiders are the worst team when you look on paper, but I think the Raiders are still going to be better than the likes of the Tennessee Titans, the Baltimore Ravens, and those are teams I see as being on that wild card bubble. So I'm very confident in all of these teams. I think that all of these teams are going to be very good. I see 9+ wins for all of them, and I see all of them in the playoffs.
It's a tough time to be in the AFC West.
I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, though,
Thank you.
because I think it's very possible. Right now, the Raiders are my number 8 team, and the Ravens are my number 7 team with a 1-win difference between the two. So one thing has to go the Raiders' way, one thing has to not go the Ravens. Raiders, that sounds so close to each other speaking. So one thing has to go the Raiders' way, one thing has to not go the Ravens' way, and it could happen. So I very well could see that being the case, and that wasn't going to be a hot take that I did make. So I definitely am hoping this happens. It'd be cool to see. It'd be a shame to see one of these teams not make playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad because I feel like I'm always Mr. Optimistic, but I'm going to give it a 4. I just don't
You
see it
hate
happening.
the Chargers? Is that what
No,
it is?
no, I love the Chargers. I don't have a ton of confidence in the Raiders, if I'm being truly honest with you.
It's only a team that got better.
The Chiefs did get worse on offense at least. So
That's right. They're gonna go 5-11, 5-12 for you.
like 2-14, 2-15,
Okay.
yeah, 2-14-1.
Okay.
But in all seriousness, that is like one of the hardest things to do.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, if any division would in recent history would be able to do it, I think it's the 2022 AFC West. It's just so hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard.
Yeah, because 6 of their 17 games, 11 remaining, are decided within their own division. So if a team finds their way going 1-5 or 0-6 within their own division, that's going to be tough to bounce back from. So they really need to split the games amongst each other and all push for it. But to not have confidence in the team that rocked the Chargers world last year.
Rocked the Chargers world.
Well, Brandon Staley really threw it for them.
Yeah,
but-
rocked the world. They went
Also-
almost to zeros on the clock in overtime.
You guys didn't reply to my video that I sent. I was watching the Chargers All In series on YouTube. Pretty good series.
I saw it way too late. I was just like, I still didn't reply.
Check it out. But basically, there's a clip towards the end. I think it's about 20 minutes in where Brandon Staley is saying that his players should be offended when people call them talented, and that we're not a talented football team. We're a hardworking football team. Like, I get what he's trying to say. He wants to show that, hey, we got the grit, we got the hard work, but you can do it in such a better way. You want me to show you an example? The Detroit Lions. Go look at Hard Knocks. Dan Campbell, he gets that type of attitude out of his players without saying, we're not talented.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking when you were saying that. Is like, that's such a bargain bin. I'm trying to put off the same message as Dan Campbell, but I did it. I just messed up.
Yeah, it was such a bad look for me, and as someone who already is a little bit doubtful on Brandon Staley, it just rubbed me the wrong way.
He's about an equal coach to Zach Taylor.
Whoa, hey now. One made the Super Bowl. You calm down over there.
That is
everything
such
you
a
know.
good take, dude. That is so awesome.
One made the Super Bowl.
That's exact. I feel like that is such a similar take to the Noah Fant is the Drew Sample of the tight end class. Same thing.
So funny.
All right, we did 4, right? 7, 9, Graham, second take. Let's go.
All right, DeAndre Swift. Here we go, boys.
Stop.
Strap in.
Stop.
DeAndre Swift will have 1,500 plus all-purpose yards,
Okay.
not just rushing.
Okay.
So last year there were 6 running backs that hit that mark. Jonathan Taylor, obviously. Najee. Cordarrelle Patterson. Almost all receiving yards, but he's still a running back. Eckler. Pollard. Tony Pollard. And Joe Mixon. So it's not, if Tony Pollard can get there, come on. Come on, DeAndre Swift can get there. Last year he had 1,070 all-purpose yards, and I think that the offensive line is good enough and healthy, and the receivers are good enough where they're going to take a lot of the heat from the defense to enable DeAndre Swift to be the guy that he can be in this league, and that's what Deuce Staley told him, is that he can be one of the best guys the best guy in this league. He can be. He has the talent to do it. He hasn't done it so far, but I think that this year is where he establishes himself as a top 10 running back in this league.
I'd love that, but...
Did you give your confidence rating? I'm sorry.
I didn't. I'm going to give this a...
Give it a 10.
No, I'm going to give this an
Scared
8. I think he's, if not 1,500 plus, very, very close.
3 out of 10. Yeah, you underestimate how much Jamal Williams going to carry the ball. You might as well call him that because he's going to out rush attempts DeAndre Swift.
No,
as long as he stays healthy, I guarantee you he will.
He won't out attempt DeAndre Swift. I think there will be a decently sized split, but I think DeAndre Swift will lead that because he's going to be taking that next step.
It doesn't matter if he outrushes my 1 carry or 100 carries. 1 carry is still out rushing him, outrush attempting him.
No, I'm saying Jamal Williams. I will not outrush.
But I'm telling you that he will.
I'm telling you he won't.
Put that in takes tracker.
I will.
Great.
I will. Future Graham, do it.
Yeah, I'm telling you that he will. So he's gonna have to really be efficient, which is possible. He's got the ability to, but he's really have to make some work in the receiving game. And how much is that gonna happen? I don't know. This is a quality enough receiving and tight end core where I think at best he's the 4th receiving option in the offense.
At best?
Once Jameson's healthy, yeah. Amon-Ra, Hawk, Jameson, and then DeAndre Swift. I have a hard time seeing it be something else. Maybe to start the year, maybe he can be prioritized above Chark and stuff. It's possible, but I don't see enough passing work coming. I really don't.
I see a very I think I see a top half of the league numbers of receiving work for a running back for sure, and I think that he's going to get the rushing yards on the other side of the all-purpose to get him up to that 1,500 yard. But I've already said that. So
you'd have to be lock and load. He has to probably get 1,100 rushing yards and 400 receiving yards.
Yeah, something like that.
And it's possible, but I'm just not betting on it.
That's fine. I'll bet on it. I'll bet on it for both of us.
Great, sounds good.
All right, cool.
I am going to give this a 9 out of 10.
Let's go, baby.
And the reason I say that is, one, I'm very high on DeAndre Swift, have been ever since he come out of the draft. He's got all the tools to be an every down back, great in the passing game, also very good in the running game. Would like to see a little bit more, obviously, up to this point, but we haven't done that so far. If DeAndre Swift stays completely healthy, I feel like if he doesn't get 1,500 plus, it's time to look for a new running back. And when I'm looking at snap count percentage, I know I brought it up with Najee Harris, but when we look at DeAndre Swift last year, this does not include his games where he didn't play at all, but it does include the games in which he tweaked things. For example, in week 12, he had 20% snap count. That is involved in this number. So over the full season, he had a 67% snap share. When you look at Jamal Williams, he's at 38%. When you look at those first 11 weeks before DeAndre Swift got injured, it was more than 70% going to DeAndre Swift, with Jamal Williams, his highest game, still being under 50. He was averaging low 30s.
What packages were they out on the field together? Because that equals 105%.
Yeah,
I'm trying to, what packages were they ever out on the field? I don't even remember them ever being out on the field together.
they may have used Jamal Williams as more of a power back to like burst through a hole, but I feel like that's more of Jason Kabinda's.
Yeah, so like
role.
I'm
not
so
sure.
like maybe this is counting like Swift in the slot or something. I don't know.
Could be.
Weird.
Also-
Anyway, go ahead.
Also, got to say that when DeAndre Swift was out, he got hurt. You would assume Jamal Williams would take the lion's share
This reminds me of
the snap
gotta say on
percentage.
This reminds me.
But that was not the case, as Craig Reynolds
goat.
was basically on par with Jamal Williams when it came to snap percentage, 42% compared to 40%
I
for
know what
Craig
you're gonna
Reynolds.
say.
This is who you're forgetting about, Craig Reynolds.
I'm not forgetting about it.
It's breakout season, baby. Breakout season for Netflix.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it just because we saw him in last night's Hard Knocks?
No, it's because he
okay.
wears a
Made me
goat
sad,
number.
man. He does wear 46 as
46
a running back.
It
I
goes
mean,
hard.
they're gonna have to
not
retire
go
it
hard.
for sure.
But no, he actually, like, watching him run, he looks like a very good runner. So I really don't know how much work he'd get with both Swift and Williams healthy, but I imagine he still gets carries. I think he's a lock to make the team at this point.
Just forget all the head knowledge. Just believe it with your heart.
No.
He can do it.
He just got all the head knowledge,
Graham.
though, from me.
Yeah,
I
he
just
did.
spoke
He still-
everything.
but
and-
he's-
Graham,
eyes closed.
you got to keep this in mind. Like, you're thinking with your heart here. You haven't been a diehard Detroit Lions fan your whole life. You really started getting into football like as you started getting older, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not calling you out on this. I've
Seems like
just
you are.
experienced 24 years of just utter disappointment.
You're that old.
See,
Yeah.
that's your heart talking right there. That's pain and suffering.
That's my heart. Yeah, and you told
Graham,
me,
Mr. Optimism.
and you told me to believe it with your heart. Well, I can't. It's black.
Believe it with your head, then. Why not?
I
One of the
can't-
two, dude. Believe it with
believe it
something
with
here.
either.
Believe it with something. Goodness.
So yeah, I like to take, and like I said, if DeAndre Swift can't get close to that, then it's time to move on. It's time to find a new running back. And the experiment failed,
How close?
unfortunately.
How close?
He's
are
got
you
to be
saying?
1,400 yards total. Like if
Yeah.
he comes out and
would
puts
agree.
up, 700 yards rushing and 400 yards through the air,
That's not enough.
no, not enough.
What'd you say? 700?
700 on the ground, 400 through the air, that gets into 1,100. That's still not
That's
enough.
not
Right.
enough
I'm saying
at all.
that's not enough. But you said 1,300 or 1,400?
Yeah, I want to see that.
Anything below that? I'm not going to push
I mean, if
it
it's
too
like
hard. I don't wanna take too much
1382,
time, but-
then
Yeah,
that's
13.99. No,
close,
you're getting
but-
the axe.
Yeah. So I mean, we just got to see it, and obviously, if he gets hurt again, then that's tough. That's a tough situation to look at, because how many years in a row are you okay with seeing a running back go down and continuing to put your faith in him being the guy
No, you're right.
when injuries just keep it's just like Tyler Eifert. I wore my Tyler Eifert
Carry
jersey
on,
to
Johnson.
the draft. It's a guy who was immensely talented, had a couple great seasons, made it to a Pro Bowl, but the injuries kept adding up, and he just could not stay on the field. And when he was, you could see he was a shell of himself. So, all right, Chase, your next hot take.
Yeah. So my next one, I believe there will be 0 in-season head coach firings,
Oh,
which I don't know. I don't have the exact statistics on
Yeah,
how many
I
there are
wanted to
per
look
year.
that up.
But we have 10 new head coaches in the league this year. I know that's above average. That's a lot. That's a lot.
high.
That's a third of the league, essentially. That's a lot of change. And when you're looking at, the way I have things projected, these teams that are going to be missing the playoffs are finishing bad. I don't like Pete Carroll's not getting the axe in his first bad year at Seattle. I don't think Houston's going to be moving on from Lovie Smith already this quickly. I don't really see. I don't see Arthur Smith getting the can. Matt Rule, I don't think he's going to get the can if he goes 7-10 with the Panthers, and I think he can even finish better than that right now with Baker. So I guess but right now I have him at 7-10. So I don't think he gets the can from that. I don't see the Jets, the Dolphins, the Giants, the Steelers, the Bears. I don't see any of them canning their coach in season. Maybe at the end of the year if like they finish off poorly, but like by the week 13, 14 mark, I just unless someone's doing just so horrifically bad that you have no choice. It's just hard for me to find a team that I can really nail down as this team is going to can their coach during the year. So I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 10 because the odds of it happening are very low. There's pretty much someone every year that does fire their coach at some point in the year, but I don't know. It's just hard for me to find one right now.
I think that what you're saying, it makes sense, but at the end of the day, the fan response and the pressure from that will force some owner to make that decision, I think.
It's possible.
yeah. I'm trying to go through all the teams right now and just think about a coach that is on the hot seat coming into the season. and it's tough to point out ones.
Matt Rule's the biggest
Yeah.
hot seat coach right now, in my opinion, and I think he will stick around based on the way I have them projected.
Cliff Kingsbury should be on that list. I think one coach that if he was on a different, a part of a different organization, if he got out to like a 0-6 start, he could very well be fired. Zach Taylor. But because he's on the Bengals, I think that won't be the case. But to see a team, be so terrible, make a Super Bowl run, start off so poorly, if that were the case, that would be a reason to fire someone. But
I think you might fire yourself into the sun if that happens.
yeah, as of right now, it's just so hard to see someone that I could see happen. So I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Yeah,
Look,
just,
you more confident than us on our last two takes.
yeah. Right now, it makes sense, but
But at the end of the day, like
odds aren't always in your favor.
like this would be cool if I can look back on it and I was right about it, because it definitely is an out on the limb type of take, not really one you think about too often.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just kind of sitting there today, I'm thinking like I really don't know who I would see getting the X.
Yeah.
I like your takes, Chase. They're like a little outside the box.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do
Yeah.
here.
And if it is correct, then we can say, man, Mike, you nailed that. Given more confidence than Chase. Love that.
So stupid.
All right.
You wouldn't even thought of it if I didn't say it.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I was gonna do one about the Bengals, but I'm not gonna do that one.
Okay, bias.
I'll save that for you guys off air. So
Brendan, the takes tracker doesn't matter.
I will do. Let's talk about the team to watch this year. There's a lot of names being thrown around there. And the team that will shock the world this year, not going to be out of Motown. I'm sorry.
They'll shock.
Go ahead. Say you're going to say.
He's not going to be dogging others in MetLife Stadium. Not going to be the case. No. But the team that will shock the world, you like that one? The team that will shock the world this year will be shaken and bacon as Mr. Mayfield gets the offense back on track. The defense has already been such a talented unit. Just some injuries and some all right coaching has led them to having a tough time. I think that the Carolina Panthers, with a healthy CMC, a much better quarterback than what they've had recently, as long as Baker Mayfield is healthy and able to stay on the field, and we get to see what he was like back in 2020 compared to 2021. This is a team I very well could see shock the world and make a playoff appearance.
A whole playoff appearance.
That's what I got.
I would like to roll back my last take because now Matt Rule's going to get fired because you did the same thing with the Dallas Stars for 4 years. Like, they're going to make it all they flop. They're going to make it all they flop.
I said Stanley Cup for the Dallas Stars.
Yeah.
I didn't say
and now
this is just playoffs.
Yeah, now
just
they're not going to make playoffs because you've been on the Panthers ever since Matt Rule got hired.
Yeah.
And they haven't done anything. Mm-hmm. And now I was feeling confident about it this year, even at my 7-10. I felt like this is low. Now you just killed my confidence.
You know why?
Why?
Because Christian McCaffrey keeps getting injured. And you know why that was? Because Mike owned Christian McCaffrey in fantasy football.
Yeah, so you're not. I don't care.
Does Mike own Christian McCaffrey in fantasy football
I don't
right
care. I don't care if in Landon's league he falls to you at like the
Does he?
At the 212. You can't
Take
touch
him somewhere.
You can't touch him.
Take him.
I
touch him.
currently
Take him.
don't own any shares of Christian McCaffrey, which means he's going to be healthy. He's going to be the RB1 this year in fantasy.
Gonna be happy.
He's
now.
so fun to
means-
watch when he plays. I hope he stays healthy, dude. He's
like-
so fun to watch.
Looking at the team, if Christian McCaffrey does stay healthy, how is this team not fighting for a wild card spot?
I
You
agree.
know? So I think this is a team that is very much going under the radar. A lot of people are talking about the Lions, which is great. And, I think Hard Knocks has something to do with that. But then we've also heard stuff like the Jets or
That's just a no.
trying to think of other teams that people are hyping up this year.
Like Joe Flacco's going to start
Broncos.
the year for the Jets. Like, are we really on betting Joe Flacco to win 2-3 games for them?
Throws a great ball, though. Great ball. And he's elite.
Yeah,
He is.
he was
Super
elite.
Bowl MVP.
He was
He
elite.
still is. Chase.
I'm unfortunately have to disagree with this one.
Well.
What? The elite or the take?
The elite.
Oh, okay. So
Well, Mike, it
confidence.
looks like
No.
you'll be having a new.
Did I give a confidence?
I don't think so.
6.
6.
Okay.
Because I can get
Don't do it.
yeah, that would be a little
one?
reckless.
No, I'm just kidding.
Give it a 5.9 if you want.
I should have gave a 6. Chase should have done a 1, and Graham should have done a 619, so we could get Rey Mysterio.
Oh, you're saying for me, I shouldn't follow what you guys say because then we're kind of dooming them to the depths of hell.
Yes.
I give them a 6.
You would choose the number of the beast here on the podcast. That's
I'm not
fantastic.
choosing it. It's
you
Mike's
are.
take.
You did.
It's Mike's take.
Fine, I'll give him a 7.
Okay, thank you.
Make
I'll
me
give
feel
him a
better
5.
about it. But
Still adds up to 20 or 18.
there you go. And I very well could see this one happening because there is enough talent there. And I again, like my 7-10 just feels low if Baker can even like channel 70% of what he was in his best year with the Browns, which I think he can. There's just so much talent around there where it's just waiting to explode. It's a super young defense. Obviously, Jeremy Chin is a safety that you love in the league. I am a huge fan of J.C. Horn. I think he's got a lot of potential to go out and have a nice kind of groundbreaking type year. You got Brian Burns. You got what's his face at D tackle. I'm drawing a blank on Derek Brown. You've got a lot in place. It's just young and had to take that next step. Really needed a quarterback you could trust because it was hard to trust Sam Darnold.
Mm-hmm.
Really need a head coach that you can trust.
Matt Ja Rule, baby. He's ready. He's ready. He's ready to take the league by storm. I would like to see this one happen because I do like I want to root for the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
It's a team that they look good in their jerseys. They've got a lot of players I like on their roster. I would like to see them have success.
I wouldn't mind rooting for them either. I just think that. Oh goodness! I mean, you really, really need Baker to come on strong.
Mm-hmm.
If he continues off where he was, then you are in trouble. And you don't really. You got Sam Darnold behind him, and they didn't hemorrhage their future for Baker, but at the same time, NFL franchises are so volatile. If you're not showing that you are a winner, then you're on the hot seat and you're possibly going to get canned. And if your take about the no coaches getting fired midseason comes true, then I think that the Panthers probably were a good team.
Yeah.
But if that's not true, if a head coach got fired midseason, I could easily see it being Matt Rule.
If all the weapons around Baker stay relatively healthy and the defense is relatively healthy, like guys can miss games. There could be 1 or 2 players that might miss a good chunk of games, but as long as the majority of impactful players stay relatively healthy, I have a hard time seeing this team not being at least a middle of the pack offense and defense, and at least in both of those. A path where Baker could have 30, passing touchdowns, like that, like all that is enough to put your team to the playoffs.
Yeah. It's so easy for us to forget how hot the Panthers came out last season, and I don't want to forget that.
When Sam Darnold's running all over the world.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And now you have a better quarterback, but outside of that, pretty much the same, if not a little better team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm with you. I want to root for the Panthers.
Plus,
I
Ike Mekwonu going to be a backstop
Thank
for
you,
him
baby.
there.
Let's go.
The number 1 offensive lineman in the draft.
Excited for that. And then also, I did just want to bring this point up real quick. Graham was talking Sam Darnold, the backup for Baker Mayfield. I'm thinking potentially 2 QB1s there. And I'm like, I don't want to pull a Pete Carroll here because he came out and said Drew Lock and Jamel Smith both looking like starting caliber quarterbacks.
Who's
Jamel
Jamel?
Smith plays hockey.
Oh, Geno Smith. Geno Smith
Jamel
and
Smith's a hockey player for the Lightning.
Oh, well, get him on the Seahawks, man. They need him.
Geno Smith and Drew Lock, both potentially starters. I'm like, come on, Pete.
Geno's the starter. We all know that.
Is this going to be like the Lamar rookie season where Joe Flacco still started? Lamar got out there some packages. They're going to, when they want a short incompletion, they'll put Geno out there. When they want a deep incompletion, they'll put Drew Lock out there.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. The ultimate tanking scheme.
All right, Graham, let's now go to you for your final take.
Oh, man. I have a couple here. One will make Mike happy. One will make Chase mad.
Oh, I like that one.
So, yeah, can we get... I want to gauge the room
Make me
here.
mad. Go ahead.
Okay.
Make him
Go ahead,
mad.
go ahead,
Make him
go
mad.
ahead.
It's another Drew Lock one.
Trey,
Yeah, I knew it was going to be a Trey Lance.
the Lance Lancer, will bust after an insane offseason hype. Obviously, he's in a great situation for a primed for a quarterback breakout, which is, what Chase would say against me, as well as you love the potential of Trey Lance. And I just don't have that belief, that trust in him. I think he is flashy, and I think that in fantasy he will be a very fun asset. But in real football, I don't know how well he can do at the NFL level to help his team succeed.
Confidence?
Rating? 6.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give this one a 2 because there is a slight chance that it happens. But
I thought you were gonna be like 0.
No, I really don't want to say 0 unless it's something so stupid that like you can't there's a path where this absolutely can happen. This is what it's a real risk you take with these raw type of guys. But at the end of the day, in my scouting process, the only other guy that I've seen in the last 5, 6, 7 years that can do things with the football that Trey Lance can was Josh Allen. Josh Allen took a little bit of time to really get adjusted to the NFL. Year 3 is really when he started taking big strides. And then year 4, he was just off to the moon. And now he's regarded as maybe the best quarterback in the league. Is Trey Lance going to be regarded as the best quarterback in the league after the season? No. Is he going to take steps in the right direction? 100%. I can't see a flat-out bust. Maybe he doesn't have a world-breaking season, but I can't picture a world where he's not at least a very trusted option going into the following year. I guess that's the best way to word it.
Yeah, I think bust definitely is a bit of an egregious word, but at the same time, I don't think it would be a super hot take if I said Trey Lance will have an okay season.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's fair, but I would still safely bet he ends up top 10 in quarterbacks for total touchdowns between passing and rushing. I think this offense is going to be one of the better ones in the league, and the tools around him really help. He's going to have a strong offensive line, so he's going to be able to be a little more patient and be able to scramble a little more. He's not going to have to force the ball as much, whereas, if he were behind, say he was in the Seahawks situation, I mean, I would be out on Trey Lance because he'd have a career-ending injury.
Right.
Because there's just no support for him. But there's just so much support around him. He doesn't have to go and be some world-breaking talent right away because the team is so strong, so he can be eased into it. You don't have to, when you need to play hero at the end of the game, you can trust him to do that. He's got enough talent, but you don't have to have him play hero from the start of the game to the end of the game, which is what's nice.
So when you're projecting him for this season, are you seeing him take that next step this year, or are you more thinking that he's going to take this year, he's going to develop, he's going to look good, he's going to show flashes, but his real breakout season is 2023?
I think he has legitimate top 5 quarterback in the league potential, and I think he can get there by it'd be a year 3 thing. It's not going to be this year. It's a bigger jump than Josh Allen in year 2, but not a Josh Allen year 3 jump.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Right,
so
right.
his team's going to get to the playoffs, and it's not going to be in spite of him. It's not going to be because of him. Their team's going to get to the playoffs with him.
And I want to be clear to you, Chase, since you're my good friend. I'm not rooting against Trey Lance.
It sounds like you are.
I'm just speaking from the heart and from the mind and from the eyes.
So his heart is saying Trey Lance is a bust?
His heart's just full of hate, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Something like that.
I'll give it a 4 out of 10. Obviously, everyone knows I'm lower on Trey Lance than Chase is, but I am not a Trey Lance hater. So, I'm not going to go all the way to 6 like Graham had. I think that he has all the tools to be a great NFL quarterback. My big worry is we have not seen it up to this point. Obviously, he hasn't played much. Couldn't beat out Jimmy Garoppolo, who wasn't great last year, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And then we've even heard some talk that maybe he was struggling at the start of camp, which hurts to hear, too. I haven't listened much recently on what's happening with him in camp, but there's just a lot of question marks with him and how he processes the game at this point. Obviously, playing at a lower level, I know Chase always talks about it's not that big of a difference, but I think when it comes to actually processing defenses and how quickly you do it, there is a bit of a difference there going from a Division II to the top of the NFL. So
it's a harder jump when you're a pure rookie, but when you have a year of experience learning the playbook and understanding things at a higher level, it helps a lot. That's going to be his biggest benefit, is that he didn't have to get thrown into action last year.
I think that's true for like 90% of first-round rookie quarterbacks. Maybe not 90%. But coming from that Division II, that's a tough ask. I think for normal rookie quarterbacks, a year is usually needed to be able to get up to that NFL speed. But obviously, since Trey Lance wasn't at that top tier of college quarterback or college play, I think that maybe more than, or not maybe, but I think more than, that typical 1 year, one entire year is needed to get up to that NFL speed. I think what we've been hearing is that, he's definitely looking a lot better. And obviously from the 49ers behavior, they want to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. It's very, very clear. So I think there's good signs. But, nothing. There's been so many times in the past where really, really good-looking college talent equates to nothing in the NFL. And I'm afraid that that's going to happen to Trey Lance. I don't want it to because he could be so fun to watch. So fun to watch. But this year is going to be a big year for him in his transition.
Absolutely. Yeah, big hater. I do got to say, though, like, when it comes to my question marks about his ability to process an NFL defense, which, again, I'm not saying that he's stupid or anything, but we just haven't seen it up to this point. I think he gets bailed out by his athleticism. So even if he struggles early on, he can bail himself out with the athleticism, getting out of the pocket, still trying to make a play. So, yeah, I give that a 4 out of 10. But, Chase, let's now get to your final take.
And my final take on this real quick, actually, is
that
that Patrick Mahomes, self-admitted, he didn't really know how to read a defense until halfway through his third year in the league. So even if the reads are questionable, if you got enough talent, sometimes you can just find a way to make it work. And it seems like he is a hard enough worker where, like, it's not like Kyler where he's like, I just go out there and ball. It's not, it's not like that type of thing. It seems like Trey Lance it just has a good enough mentality where he understands that he needs to make those improvements where I'm putting my faith in him. But
I will say the one thing that turns a lot of people off on very talented prospects is when we compare them to Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Stop doing that.
I'm not comparing.
It's bad.
I'm not trying to compare. I'm not saying he's going to be Josh Allen, but like I think that's his path to success is having that progression.
Mm-hmm.
So my final take is right now there are 12 teams that have never won a Super Bowl, and I think one of those 12 teams will win a Super Bowl this year. So it'll be a brand new Super Bowl winner. We're heading into Super Bowl 53, I believe it is, 52, whatever the number is.
Yeah.
But regardless, I'm going to kind of read off a list of teams, and we'll talk about each one really briefly, and then I'll share my confidence all said and done.
Okay.
Number 1, the Cleveland Browns, no. Number 2, the Detroit Lions, yes, 100%, locked and loaded.
They are going to make it, and they're going to win it.
So they're not going to really, like, they could take strides, but they're like, it would take a Cincinnati Bengals type of jump, which they're obviously not.
It would take a miracle.
Yes. Houston Texans, no. That team's out of there. The Jacksonville Jaguars, I don't.
All right, I don't want hesitation here.
I want to give it like whatever the Bengals percentage was last year. I want to say the Jags are at least half that percentage. So like, there's a very slight enough chance where everything could go right and it could happen, but I'm definitely not banking on it.
Super Bowl 57, by the way. Sorry.
57.
Yeah, we're on 57.
The hell did I get 53 from? Okay, but then moving on. Cincinnati Bengals.
Hey, I like that one.
So
10 out of 10.
That is a good one.
Those first 4 teams have never made a Super Bowl. Fun fact of the day. The Cincinnati Bengals have made a Super Bowl twice. 3 times?
3 times.
Over 3?
Twice in the 80s. Lost both to the 49ers and well,
Jerry Rice, baby.
The Lions are literally one of the league's oldest teams. So
they have a championship though.
They do have a championship.
Yes, they do. So number 5, Cincinnati Bengals, as I said, a team I very well could see this happening. It's one of the favorites out of the AFC and the league in general. Atlanta Falcons, that's a bit of a no. The Carolina Panthers, excuse me. The Panthers, could make a jump to a playoff team, but that jump, no. The Arizona Cardinals, they're the 8th team, and this is a team that has enough where it could happen. If Kyler can take the next step, it very well could happen. Am I going to bet on it? Probably not.
He gets off them dang video games.
Exactly. Number 9, the Tennessee Titans. Unlikely, but, I mean, if Derrick Henry stays healthy, he's good enough where he can carry a team at least to the playoffs. Even when he misses 5-6 games, he can still carry a team to the playoffs like he did last year.
Yeah.
Number 10, the LA Chargers, a team that I would feel good about if I was betting on them. Like, I'm not going to be like super confident, but like if I had to bet on 2-3 teams, this is one of the teams I'd probably bet on.
Yeah.
A team I definitely want to take a chance on. I'm going to skip the number 11 because they're my favorite. The number 12, the Minnesota Vikings.
Yikes.
Really?
Sorry.
So number 12 is the Vikings, and probably not.
Probably not.
I would say, maybe this is a hot take. I would say the Vikings have as good a chance as the Cardinals do.
Maybe.
I think what you said, that makes sense because it's more of the division talent. You know, the NFC West, way more talented, way more talented. Again,
yeah.
I was gonna say top heavy, but I wanted to think about that a little bit. Then the NFC North. You know, the NFC North, in my opinion, is pretty wide open for anyone to take that step and win the division,
including the Bears. Yeah. All right. Sorry.
Well,
so the Vikings, like, it seemed like make playoffs, and as we kind of saw with the Bengals, we didn't really expect them to do much. All it takes is just you make playoffs, and it's a new season. Like, you need your momentum going the right way, and you can make a kind of surprise appearance. And then, of course, the Buffalo Bills, 4 straight Super Bowl appearances, 0 wins. That's just impressive, honestly. Like, you have to try to do that. It really is incredible, but they're my favorites this year to win the Super Bowl. I just think they're the best roster built for the regular season and the playoffs. They have an absolutely elite quarterback. They have a quality enough running back group we're going to hope and see. The receiving room is strong. I really like Dawson Knox. The offensive line is strong. The defense has gotten a lot better over the last couple of years. Gregory Rousseau is going to take that next step. Trey White is going to be much better in the DB sphere this year. Everything is just in place for the Bills to have one hell of a season. This is really the team I'm betting on. So this whole take, I'm giving a confidence rating a 7 out of 10 because I see legitimately like at least 3 teams that I would put money on.
Yeah, and the sad thing about those 3 teams is they're all in the AFC.
Yep.
I think that the AFC Championship, I think, will be a match between 2 more talented teams than the Super Bowl will be.
Oh, 100%. Like there's just no way it's not unless some random AFC team gets locks their way in. Like we see the frickin' I don't know,
Raiders.
Yeah, you see the Texans go 9-8, win their division and squeak through somehow.
How about Landon's sake? The Jags going 11-6. They make it to the AFC Championship.
Yeah, they've been jagging off, baby. Let's go. Let's go, Jags.
Yes. You know, if you said it was the Bengals, I'd give you a 10 out of 10. But I know the take. Did the take include the Bills? I don't think it did it?
Yeah.
Oh, it did.
It's a team that has never like won Super Bowl is going to win Super Bowl.
Yeah. But I'm saying, did the take include you saying the Bills are going to be that team?
Oh, no. Okay. No, it's just the team I have the most faith in.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yes.
Because if that was the case, I would say 0 because you were betting heavy on the Bills last year too, and well, you see how that happened. Flip of a coin, and well, goes them.
Honestly,
Wow.
if they played the Bengals, I probably would have bet on the Bills to win that game over the Bengals.
And you would have lost again. Dang. But I think, man, that's tough because there's so many teams that have won the Super Bowl that are still at the top, like the Bucks. They're still up there. The Rams, basically just anyone in the NFC. When you look at the top of the AFC, I think it's really those 3 teams. I mean, you could argue the Browns and the Chiefs. Not the Browns, sorry. The Broncos and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But are they as talented as those other 3? I don't know. So I'll give it a 5. I like it.
What did I say my number was?
You said 7.
Yeah, I feel good about that.
It would be so easy to split the difference, but I'm going to go with Chase here. I'm going to say
What a
7.
guy.
Okay.
What a guy.
I mean, I think that...
Is it because you're betting on the Lions or?
What? No, I'm not.
Hey, you have him in the playoffs, don't you?
I do.
All it takes is a little bit of luck. That's all it takes.
A little bit of luck.
All it takes is
a little
Jared
bit
Goff.
of fairy dust.
Jared Goff taking that next step at 28 years old.
Just a spoonful of sugar. We'll get him there. But like I said, the AFC is so talented, and the 3 teams that you mentioned, the Bills, the Chargers, and the Chiefs, those are the top guys in my opinion. So the odds are that it could happen. Mm-hmm. It's just when it comes down to it, playoffs is a whole different animal than regular season.
Yep.
And anything can happen.
All right, my final take and the final take of the episode. I've been talking so positively about this team during this episode. I've been talking positively about one of their players, which is going to be included in this take here. And it unfortunately goes the complete other way. I've been trying to throw you guys off this whole time. I'm trying to throw you guys off this entire time.
So you have a hot take contradicting your other hot take?
Well, no. It's not a part of anyone's other hot take, but the team came up multiple times during this episode.
Okay.
So, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' reign as the head of the division comes to a halt after a regretful Tom Brady has his worst season in 2 decades. That takes out his first 3 seasons, by the way. So, had to make sure. I didn't want to say his whole career, but
this is including the year where he missed 11 of the games because of an injury.
No, does not include the year where he had 7 snaps.
Who was behind him? Was it Matt Castle?
Yeah.
Well, we saw
Brian
Jimmy
Hoyer,
G and
right?
Jacoby Brissett.
Right. Yeah, Brian Hoyer. We saw
Brian Hoyer, yeah.
snaps.
So is full season statistics. I'm looking at Brady having his worst season, and the reason I say this is because, gosh, what's his name? I just looked him up on Twitter. There's a reporter down in Tampa that has a very good track record, and he stated that the 11-day period in which Tom Brady was not in camp was not due to vacation. And, there might be something else going on. We've heard multiple times that Tom Brady's been miserable in camp. Yesterday, which kind of goes against my narrative here, we hear that Tom Brady had the best day of camp in his career throughout even Patriots.
All right.
Yeah, so that's a little high, but I think overall, Tom Brady is aging. We've seen a lot of craziness go on in this offseason. He retired. He came back. There was talk he could be the ownership of the Miami Dolphins. A lot of stuff going all around. This 11-day break is very strange. I hope everything's okay. I don't want to speculate what it was, but there's a lot of things here that could point towards Tom Brady regression. And if that's the case, is this Tampa team with a average Tom Brady much better than everyone else in their division? I don't know if they are. And with that being said, I'm going to give this a confidence rating of 3 because I don't like betting against Tom Brady. But I think it's something that very well could happen.
I feel like if you have a hot take, you should have to at least put it at 5.
You had one of yours at 4 earlier.
Today?
Yes.
Which one?
It was the one that's I don't remember your hot takes because they were so bad.
No, I wasn't at a 4. I was at a 7 because I said I feel like a 4 about the running backs, but a 10 at the quarterbacks and receivers because I'm guaranteeing that. It's exactly what I said.
Interesting.
No.
So I'm going to give this one a 1. So the small chance that it happens, but I think Tom Brady's on a revenge tour because he was ready to retire, and Adam Schefter is going to spoil it. He's like, hey, Adam Schefter, up yours. I'm going to go throw for 4,800 yards and 39 touchdowns just because I can do it and you can't. So that's what I think's gonna happen.
Yeah. Adam Schefter can't.
Yeah, I think it's just we got a little Tom Brady revenge tour. I don't. Who's gonna overtake him in that division? The Saints.
I think the Saints could, and we just talked about the Carolina Panthers. If
they're not ready to overtake them,
if they find a way where Baker Mayfield plays well, you said 30 touchdowns. You can see him doing 30 touchdowns. CMC stays healthy the whole time. Can they not hit 10 wins?
They can, but I can't see the Bucs having 9 or less.
If you have the worst Tom Brady season in over 2 decades,
I can't see it. I don't see this happening. I just don't see this happening.
I don't either. That's why I gave it a 3.
I don't see the Saints with Jameis. Jameis.
The weapons are insane.
Just close your eyes.
Remember when he threw for 5,000 yards? Yeah, I remember. He also threw for 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions, and the team was nowhere near the top of the division. I don't really remember that, to be honest, if they were or not.
I think they were 7-9.
Yeah.
But
so, I just, 1 out of 10. I can't,
I said, hottest take for last. There it is.
True.
It's not even, it's just bad.
I'm going to give it a 3 as well.
Let's go.
Because it's just weird. I feel like this is a different Tom Brady than we all know. Mm-hmm. And obviously he is the most experienced player in the league. And so if Tom Brady wants to have 11 days off, Tom Brady gets 11 days off. And it doesn't matter. It's not going to change the way that he plays, really, I don't think. But I think that more than any other season, Tom Brady, his head's out of it. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying he's completely out of it and he's looking forward to, being an owner of a team or something like that. I'm just saying, every season in his career compared to this season, it's just he's just a little bit out of it more than we've ever seen. Obviously, because he retired and then unretired.
And
so,
sorry, I just want to say, and Brady talked about how if he ever gets to the point where he's no longer in the game, then he's going to be done.
it's weird.
And so if he retired,
Andrew Luck style.
that makes me think, like, his head's not all the way in the game. Like,
Yeah.
he even stated that if it's not all the way there, then he's hanging it up.
And that doesn't mean that he's going to come in and play really bad.
No.
Or have a terrible season just because he's not completely in the off season. Once the regular season kicks, I'm sure Tom Brady will get into it. But it's just it's abnormal is all I'm saying. It's abnormal Tom Brady, and so how can we not say he's going to have an abnormal Tom Brady season?
I just don't see how you can hate on the second all-time receiving yards leader for players over 40. I just don't see how you can say, oh, that guy's going to regress now.
Would never.
I don't like. There's no chance he regresses. Like he's literally second all time.
Isn't it Jerry Rice, Tom Brady?
It's just them.
Yeah.
It's literally just them. Tom Brady has one catch for 6 yards.
Well,
Jerry Rice is 161 for 2,169.
Well, Tom Brady's
That's
still
incredible, by the way.
Tom Brady's still going, so he could catch up.
True.
He could catch
That's
up.
fair.
Also, just want to say the worst season Tom Brady has had in the past 2 decades. He threw for 60.5% completion.
60?
60.5,
Wow.
yeah.
Great.
And then 4,400 yards, 25 touchdowns, 11 picks, 87.3 QBR. So,
So Baker Mayfield.
like, it's not awful.
No,
That's not awful.
that completion percentage is really low.
Yeah, it is. So, that's the final hot take. But
he's Tom Brady is Tom Brady. I mean, there's no one else that comes
Fair
close.
point. Chase Crawshaw's Chase Crawshaw.
Yeah, true. No one else well, other people come close to you. In
No, I'm
some
definitely a
things,
unique
I'm
case.
but you are a unique case in the medical field, but in the football field, on the football field, I mean, Tom Brady, like, he just defines what it is to be Tom Brady every year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we can talk about all the different quarterbacks in the league and what it's like to be a quarterback in the league and what we can expect from quarterbacks in the league. But every year, Tom Brady keeps on showing us we can't expect anything from him. Everything that we expect from him, other than he's going to come in and be very great, like, we're always wrong.
yeah.
So it's like, what am I going to say that Tom Brady's going to completely whiff this year?
Right. And that's why
No.
multiple times on this show, going back multiple episodes, I always say, never betting against Tom Brady. And even though this is my hot take, give it a 3 out of 10, there's still no way in hell I'm betting this to actually happen.
He's got some sort of voodoo magic. Man.
But I think that when you look at the situations that are currently happening with Tom Brady and then the Bucs organization, they've lost some pieces over the offseason. They still don't know who they're starting. I think it's right guard. It's either right guard or left guard. They still don't know who their starting guard is there. There's just a lot more questions with this team that we've seen since Brady joined the team. And I think that's why there's a slim chance.
Fair enough. So before we end the show, I want to pedal back. The take that you kind of took from me, that Super Bowl one was going to be the one I was going to leave out for last. But the whole 4 players from one or 4 teams from one division, I was going to go even further and say that 2 divisions will send at least 3 teams, with 1 division sending 4 teams.
You're going to say both West?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
God bless.
that could have been, that could have been more spicy, but you had to take it.
Yeah, sorry. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys my Bengals one after the show because
I'll tell you my Bengals one after the show.
I know.
I'll come up with the Bengals line for the show.
Why not?
Perfect. We got to get Graham out of here. He's got some meetings to go to. Very busy man.
Very busy.
But that's going to do it for the show. I want to thank you so much for coming out and giving us a listen. If you want to stay up to date with all that we do, you can follow us on Twitter at WNP Sports Pod. That's again on Twitter at WNP Sports Pod. We also have a Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Those links will be down in the description of whatever you're listening on, whether it be YouTube or a podcast platform.
Question.
Yes.
Did you ever actually figure out the
Answer.
login for the TikTok again?
I'm trying. I'm trying.
So
Still
check out that TikTok.
Still follow because more stuff soon to come. But if you are listening on YouTube, if you could, please give us a like, comment, subscribe. Let us know your favorite hot take. If you have a hot take of your own, put them down in the description. We'll actually get them on the takes tracker because we are going to start making that public for everyone to see. We all have takes, whether it be fantasy or the NFL, that are put in a big spreadsheet, and then we keep track of them. Graham, the mastermind behind that. So that will be in the description as well. Make sure to hit the bell, turn on notifications. YouTube will let you know when all of our episodes are coming out. If you are watching on a podcast platform, or should I say listening on a podcast platform, if you could please give us a 5-star rating and a follow. We'd really appreciate that. Thanks so much for stopping by. And as always, we're not professionals.